Mercedes have signed Kimi Antonelli to replace Lewis Hamilton next year, finally putting to bed the rumours of Max Verstappen joining the team. We know that Toto was favouring Max Verstappen, but his next best option was the upcoming Kimi Antonelli. Before we get into the details of the contract, and if it's a good idea, who exactly is Kimi Antonelli? You'd be forgiven for not knowing the name Antonelli, but I have a feeling you're going to be very familiar with his name over the next few years. Antonelli's full name is Andrea Kimi Antonelli, but he goes by Kimi, and he's only just turned 18 this month. There are a lot of comparisons between Antonelli and Verstappen and their routes to Formula 1, as well as, of course, their age. Verstappen, well, he skipped Formula 2. He did just 1 year in Formula 3 and then jumped immediately to Formula 1 at only 17 years old. He became the youngest point scorer and youngest race winner, something I doubt that will be beaten anytime soon. You could see where the similarities are coming from. Antonelli, on the other hand, well, he's been doing Formula 2, and he had a pretty tough start. He currently sits 7th in the standings with 87 points, compared to the championship leader Isaac Hadz 165. His Prima team have had a tough start though. His teammate at Prima, Oliver Behrman, who is also Formula 1 bound, currently sits 15th on 34 points. Antonelli does have a couple of wins though, a standout performance in Hungary to win the feature race, and he also came home in first in the Silverstone Sprint. His only 2 podiums of the season though. He does have high stock, having been signed by Mercedes as a junior in 2019 after impressing in karting. He did Formula 4 and went on to win 13 of the final 17 races in the series. He also competed in German F4 alongside the Italian F4, and not only went on to get 7 consecutive pole positions and wins, but he dominated the championship, winning by 47 points, despite missing 3 rounds. He's also won the Formula 4 category in the FIA Motorsport Games with a broken wrist, as well as winning the Formula Regional Championship in both the European region and the Middle East. He clearly has a lot of talent. Ironically, it could be the potential of Antonelli, which at least in part pushed Hamilton towards moving to Ferrari, as Wolff was reluctant to give Hamilton a more long-term contract and miss out on giving their upcoming junior driver a shot in Formula 1. Something Wolff regrets with Verstappen. You may not know this, but Max Verstappen could have driven for Mercedes. There was an opportunity where Mercedes could have signed him, and it seems that it's something that Wolff doesn't want to repeat when rare talents come along. Wolff said, "There was a situation many years ago when we had the opportunity to let Max drive, and that wasn't possible back then because we simply didn't have a cockpit. Nico Rosberg and Lewis Hamilton were tied to us long term, and Red Bull naturally seized the opportunity. They gave him a contract with Toro Rosso with the possibility of driving for Red Bull the following year. We then lost the young driver, and you can see how successful he has become. And precisely because we have a junior on the horizon who is really driving at a high level, I simply wanted to keep this option open." So it's ironic, really, that his decision was between an upcoming driver and a driver who was once an upcoming driver that he failed to sign. But has he made the right choice? Well, ultimately, it was clear from the way Toto Wolff was speaking that his goal was Verstappen. However, unlikely that was going to be. Although at one point it did look like there was enough unrest at Red Bull that perhaps there was a possibility. Ultimately, though, they've got a very talented driver, but one with very little experience in Formula 1 cars, and honestly very little experience in Formula 2 cars. But that didn't hurt Max Verstappen. However, he was able to start his journey in a Toro Rosso and made mistakes. And we know that's likely to happen to Kimi Antonelli as well. We saw what happened in FP1, bit of a lack of experience there, and that's what caused his accident. And I expect that is going to happen. That's par for the course. Putting Antonelli straight into a Mercedes, who have improved massively this season and would potentially be expecting to fight for a championship next year, could be a mistake. But he's fast enough that maybe it'll work. Something like Lewis Hamilton at McLaren, perhaps. You have to assume he's going to make mistakes and that Toto Wolff's accepting of that. Of course, there is no guarantee he'll even struggle. Perhaps, he'll surprise us all and he'll be on the pace of Russell and he won't really make any mistakes. That's what Mercedes will be hoping for. When it comes to the actual statement itself, Toto said, "We were excited about what George and Kimi bring to the team, both as individual drivers but also as a partnership. A new lineup is perfect to open the next chapter in our story. It is also a testament to the strength of our junior program and our belief in homegrown talent. George has proved that he is one of the very best drivers in the world. He is not only fast, consistent, and determined, but he's also developed into a strong leader within the team. Kimi has consistently shown the talent and speed needed to compete at the very top of our sport. We know it will be another big step up, but he has impressed us in his F1 testing this year, and we will be supporting him every step of the way in the learning process. In George, he has an experienced teammate from which he can learn and hone his craft. I am confident that both will contribute greatly as we continue to build momentum and fight at the front of the field. George then said, I'm really excited to be partnering with Kimi for 2025. His record in junior formula has been formidable and his promotion is truly deserved. He is a fantastic young talent and a fellow graduate of our junior program. I look forward to using the experience I've gained from my own F1 journey to provide guidance and the rest of it. Kimi also went on to say during a media session, he said, it's not possible to replace Lewis Hamilton. He's a great figure. I just want to be seen as the next Mercedes driver. And you have to assume that George Russell will be a little bit nervous. There's a lot of hype around Kimi Antonelli. They believe he's got raw speed, and we saw an element of that in FP1, even though you could argue his inexperience is what pushed him to, go flat out from lap 1. Will he be able to match George Russell? Will he be able to best George Russell? I'm excited to find out. It's not that often these days that we get a hot young talent straight from Formula 2 into a top team. But we've got one now in Kimi Antonelli. Let's see how it goes. 2025 is looking exciting. Thanks for watching.